Well, thanks again, everybody, for joining us for another episode of 411 Pop Culture, where real people talk about really everything. And I'm your host, Justin. With me is Danielle. And tonight we are going to watch Flowers in the Attic, The Origin, Part 4. Woo! Are you ready, Danielle?
I am so excited to see the end of this. I cannot wait a second longer.
Me too. I'm excited to see how it's going to come. I mean, obviously, I think the religion stuff's going to be coming in. On the preview, we saw John Amos making an appearance, finally. John Amos. And I'm excited that it's going to be wrapped up. I think, the third episode, part, whatever you want to call it, really ended a lot of the new stuff, the stuff that wasn't a part of it. So I think this is going to focus more. Looks like we are going to get to see quite a bit about Corrine and what happened on that side of it in the gap.
And Garden of Shadows and Flowers in the Attic.
Absolutely.
We're calling it the gap now.
Yeah, well, I guess some people are hesitant about that, but I'm excited to see it. I think it's going to be fun. Yeah, I think it'll be really fun. Make sure to check out our playlist. We have tons of VC Andrews Theory videos, and we have tons more coming. We're excited down the road. The Cutler series looks like it's going to be coming out soon, hopefully sooner than later, and I'm just really looking forward to it. But we won't keep you in suspense. If you like what you're seeing, please hit that like button, please comment below, let us know what you're thinking, and please consider subscribing. But let's go ahead and get started with part 4. We didn't really get to see too much with that dollhouse, though. I thought it was going to have he was going to smash it for her. He should have done that at the birthday party when he was still giving her dolls,
right?
I get the whole dolls, dressed in dolls sort of reference. Oh yeah, that's right. This is where this ended.
Yeah. No, Corrine. And Christopher.
Well, she just walked right in. Oh, so she's not telling him yet. I wasn't sure.
She's trying to protect Christopher. Yeah, my God, he'd probably kill him.
Right, but I feel like in the preview I saw them fighting, or no, in the original preview that came out, it shows them at gunpoint with Christopher or something. Oh yeah, and they just connected.
Yeah, they had kissy face.
Yeah.
Mother requires everything to make such a foolish mistake. I love him. Let's talk about God. What about the Greeks? Or the Romans? Their gods loved everyone and anyone.
That's interesting, though, because she kind of mentioned, not that specifically, but in Flowers in the Attic, she mentioned, Egyptian, or, in some cultures, people marry that are closer in relations. That was sort of her justification to the kids.
Will not understand.
She said she's not afraid of Daddy. Okay, he just murdered somebody.
Yeah, but she also tried to murder him, so...
True.
I wonder if she's going to tell them.
That's not all.
But she is going to tell them.
You are also half siblings.
Interesting.
There's a twist.
Yeah. Though I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I was kind of liked in the stories that they didn't really know how deep it went, but why not?
Daddy and Alicia have an affair.
Which is a good reason for her to feel like, well, who cares? Everybody does what they want anyway in this family.
True.
Mutually agreed.
Well, that kind of sunk their little plan a little bit.
Right.
I'm really curious to see how
I feel about it.
I know. I'm torn right now. I think, we forget what a blow that is to hear, the person you thought was your mother isn't your mother.
Imagine,
you thought this guy that you fell in love with was your half uncle, now you're half brother and sister. No wonder if she went kind of nutty, I guess.
Sure. But it changes a lot of things later on. Even when even in the adaptations, what she was talking about with Bart, I feel like she always felt superior. At least I didn't with my brother. She was telling Bart Jr. about Chris and Kathy. It's kind of bad, huh? Even though she had done something, but it wasn't as bad. And so I think in her head she always felt superior. So it changes it.
Yeah, but maybe this could have really happened, and they did know, and they didn't care. And she literally kept that secret.
Well, sure. I mean,
Yeah.
it's possible, but I'm saying it changes a lot down the road that then doesn't really quite make sense.
I mean, this change doesn't really change the script, if you will, in the retrospect, because it could have been a well-kept secret between the three of them. You know, Chris passed away.
Sure, but I just think it makes her even more hypocritical when she was like I really feel Corrine did feel more higher, superior over Kathy because she's like, at least I didn't sleep with my brother, sort of thing.
Love each other.
Maybe that's why she sought redemption with Kathy, because they were very much
We
alike.
wanted each other.
But then why even say it?
We'll figure all of that stuff out.
Because she's Corrine.
No, I don't agree. I just don't think this works. Like,
Hey, I'm just trying to be devil's advocate
you
here.
know. I will argue that maybe, like, from the novels, when she would, like, ask Bart Jr., like, so your parents really together? In a way, she could have been thinking, like, wow, we're even more similar.
Yeah.
I thought, so I guess I'll play devil's advocate a little bit, but
I'm trying not let this change kind of affect how much I'm enjoying this.
well, I don't think it has to change how I'm enjoying it, but it definitely, I preferred when they didn't know.
Oh, maybe you're gonna get your answer here.
No, this is Garland's
Oh,
fault.
right.
Because he wouldn't have wrote the coddle, so we got...
Yeah.
He left half of everything to Christopher.
Grandfather's not a sound.
No, this makes sense, though.
Mm-hmm.
I think she always felt that.
Did he see a doctor?
Yeah.
That is a peasant girl.
Half still would have been so
There we
much.
go.
Half is half of what I deserve.
If you acted like this when you were a child,
Uh-oh.
I can see why she left.
Yikes.
Oh. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is what I think I saw. Because I happened to watch the original trailer again for this, and I'm like, oh, Christopher has a gun.
I thought we had an understanding.
About what?
Oh no.
No, you tell me. Or so help me God, I will make you regret it.
So now you both want me to fear a god you don't believe in. I'm in love with Christopher, and we're getting married.
Oh my.
So intense.
I know. Christopher needs to like get in there. I'm getting really worried. Oh God. Oh man.
I'm so nervous.
I am too.
Just like I killed your father.
Oh my.
Ooh, that's bad.
Shot her around the world.
Right? I didn't say that close. Oh, don't leave that gun down there, Miriam. Okay.
I am loving this though.
Okay. It's sort of like the Alicia thing.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more exciting, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we all know how crazy Malcolm is.
Right.
You're a coward. Just like your father. My father's not the coward. You are. Say it again.
My father's not a coward. Not just a coward. He's also a murderer and a rapist. I know you did to my real mother. Our mother.
Oh my.
Joker. Hey!
I choose to love. Well, if I'm a sinner, then what exactly does that make you? The man who has 2 daughters in this very room. Corrine, don't. Celia!
no.
Oh, right.
Everybody in the house knows it. Everybody in town knows it.
Oh, hell no.
To be with you, you have to force yourself on everyone like the beast that you are.
Christopher's about to kick some ass.
Yeah, I hope so.
So be it. You can't have my money either. That's enough.
Don't you mean Christopher's money?
If you do this with him, you are not part of this family. You will never have been part of this family, and you will never be part of this family ever again. Do I make myself clear?
I mean, at that point, who would want to? Of course they ran off together.
Right. But it explains, too, why she would always think the money belonged to her. You know, after marrying Christopher.
You're right, yes. Uh-huh.
Like, twofold, you know?
Mm-hmm.
What's important is that you're safe now.
But this is tricky, though, because it's like, how does Olivia turn against them, you know? I mean...
Well, John Amos is going to come
I
back.
guess.
That's why. But I think there was still some love there, regardless of the adaptations. But she did let Corrine and the kids come back. I mean,
Right.
she did.
No, of course.
You murdered my father.
Yeah, this is what I was saying. I'm like, I thought I saw him with the gun actual pointed at him.
No. Of course I do. No, you don't. Because if you did,
Is he going to tell them about the abortion?
Oh, maybe. Oh, maybe. Ooh.
she hasn't told you who she really is.
It's kind of messed up if he does.
You know
Ooh.
who she is. The man she hates. She hates me because I know who she is. She is beautiful.
It's true. She is sort of evil.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
about the
you can't
poisoning,
forget,
too.
Even
Yeah.
though she's great right now, but I love what she's saying.
Last
Yeah.
year, just to save her reputation.
What about the poisoning?
What about the this is abortion? Yeah, it's true. That's his brother. I guess I never think like I for some reason I'm always thinking it's his uncle somehow too, but no, they're brothers, right?
Yeah, they're half brothers.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darling, that's not possible.
Except for Corrine, it's her uncle and her brother.
Right.
They're halves.
You promised, Mother.
May I have a moment alone with Corrine to say goodbye?
What?
I spoke with your father. I'm leaving. More than happy to take 10 grand for his silence and leave. Maybe we're not so different after all.
That's right. They did totally connect like
Yeah.
like an hour ago in the night.
Right.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they're sneaking out right now. Yeah, they took everything. He took the 10,000, and they're leaving. They snuck out.
Oh, hell yeah.
So that's how he got it from him. You better cash
Yeah.
that check real quick, unless he got
Probably
cash.
got cash.
I hope so. But at least now that gives Olivia a reason to be pissed.
Yeah.
You know, by flowers in the attic.
Everything I loved had been taken from
Yeah, there we go.
me. Ways at all.
Good morning, Donna.
Gross.
Where you been?
So, I have a couple errands to run for my grandmother.
Like right. Satan is sweating today.
Oh, I'm horrified right now. You wouldn't.
Have a nice day at work.
That's right. Oh, I was nervous.
Well, it doesn't look like Malcolm had that stroke either.
Right. Oh, good point. Well, I think it was a heart attack now that I'm remembering
either
it. But
way.
I've been saying stroke, so I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I just think that the way this is set up, I don't see a reason that, when Corrine comes back, she's so afraid of her mother punishing and doing stuff.
Mhm.
And I'm just not seeing any reason why. I can
Yeah.
understand her being nervous to come back to see the grandfather or Malcolm, but, there's nothing really that's like Olivia, there would be any reason to be afraid.
Right.
Because she is very much like, don't give her any reason at all,
Mhm.
Oh, is she planning on doing something to Malcolm's car?
Apparently.
They're always plotting something.
Mrs. Wadsworth.
Mm.
It's awful late. What are you doing here? I forgot something.
See, again, I don't know. I really liked how it was going to be set up, where like now they were like feeling a certain way towards each other. I thought that was a nice way to set it up. That they like loved each other by flowers in the attic and the whole Christmas party and all that. But
I guess we'll see what happens.
I guess so. Oh. Oh.
She loosened it so he leaned forward and look at the picture.
Oh. She sure did. I did not see that coming.
I didn't either.
Cool.
I'll call the doctor.
Well, well, well.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, but I know so many people are mad right now.
I'm a little
I
upset
know you're
right
all
now.
mad right now.
I'm a little upset right now. Him being gone takes away everything.
No. They didn't kill him, I don't think. But I think that's going to be what leads to his heart issue sort of thing. But again, that was always the thing about the grandmother, was that you always think she's going to be a killer or behind it, but she never is the one. She's always the one to like...
6 months in the hospital. Your husband's hemiparesis.
Yeah.
Not improved. So he will most likely never speak.
But I know he deserves. Like I've always said, the best kind of revenge takes time.
Welcome home.
Although I will say this matches up at least to the sort of Ellen Burstyn portrayal in Petals on the Wind. Like when she's sitting there being all cuckoo-doo in the bed and like...
I know it's not exactly false.
Making comments like, you'll never escape it, blah, blah, blah. Look who's come home to roost. Like, I don't know. This is just... I see where they kind of got maybe that, Olivia.
Yeah.
Just until you finish medical school. May I have this dance?
Oh, it would be my honor. Mrs. Darling-Ganger.
Okay, I did see this on the next set too, and I was sort of like, really? Malcolm's gonna allow this? But I see now how it's all...
Deserve far more than you're going.
There's a Malcolm we know.
Yeah.
I do like that you're seeing some that, like I said, the gap. I like how they're filling it in.
I do, but it's with like such
I know,
contradictory stuff.
I
like,
know, yeah. Well, like him finishing medical school, but under the name Dollenganger, but that was the whole...
But he didn't end up finishing medical school in the novels. He became a computer salesman for a PR firm because he couldn't use his degree.
Right. So that's going to probably come up next.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's these little things. Like, I want to see more about the core and Christopher. I'm sure how they could fill in that gap. But this stuff, it's so contradictory. Like, I'm so confused almost.
Well, that's part of the backstory that they kind of added in there, so it makes sense why we're a little confused.
Gentlemen, and thank you for coming here all the way from Richmond. Oh dear. It looks like he's having another one of his fits. I was so hoping he'd be able to...
Yikes.
Terribly sorry about that. Now,
he's pissed.
let's get down to business, shall we?
When exactly will Mr. Foxworth be?
Do I make myself clear, or will you continue interrupting
I'm getting
me?
flashbacks to Mommy Dearest.
I was just thinking that. Don't F with me, fellas.
Right.
Why is that?
This ain't my first time at the rodeo.
Right. Well, and maybe this is, you know, they had that bonding moment and all this happened, but now she gets to live out a little bit of her revenge because he can't speak.
Yeah, sure.
Professional impotence is really not a good look on men. You should try better to master your feelings. I'm somewhat of an expert on that, having lived with you for the past 20 years. Now, or tomorrow, I may accidentally forget to feed you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is another way to kind of get to the around the path of like, I'm the rule. I make the rules in this house.
Yes.
I execute the punishment. That sort of thing. Like, I guess it's another way around it. Again, I know many of you are upset right now, but I do, at least it's like still taking us around that way.
Yeah.
You can see where she gets that side of her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you won't go to hell.
I'd like to show you something.
Yeah, she's gonna punish him now. Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
She gives him the punishments in this house.
There's well, that won't be possible to replace. Everything in this room was hers, was it not?
Oh. Ironically, that looks like a swan bed. That's what the swan bed should look like.
Yeah. It was intense.
Yeah. I don't know, too, the struggle for me is, like, the part of the Christmas party where he's, like, you know, he's still so in control, and it's still up to him, ultimately, what happens with everybody.
Maybe eventually he gains some speech function.
Well, sure, but he's got to also, like, have control over Olivia, too. Like, he still has some control over the grandmother.
Unless she lied the whole time.
I guess, see, he's a doctor here.
So, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's what, like, the traveling and stuff. Why was he traveling all the time if he was a doctor? Like, how are they getting these little things wrong? Like, and why do they not think that we're going to care?
Oh, Christopher. I don't know how I feel about this.
Right.
Mr. Foxworth seems to have fallen. Would you help him up?
I don't know how I feel about this. I was getting really excited to kind of see a little bit more,
I agree.
but they've taken it just a step too far.
I agree.
Amos. You okay?
Oh, I forgot she calls him Amos.
Ever deny a wish?
Johnny Miss Jackson.
Dearest cousin. I mean, I cannot be.
See, and John didn't even see Corrine until, like, he's not even seeing her. And that was sort of the thing, where they were supposed to be kind of creepy in the background.
Yeah.
You know, the religious hypocrisy of the fact that he would judge them, but really he wanted to sin with her himself.
Mm-hmm.
Punishing her.
I like the music in the background. Kind of is resembling that 87.
Sure, the Christopher Young score.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The only time to enter a new variable into the equation.
At least they're bringing this back.
Right.
I don't know how I feel.
For Mal's spirit, for Joel's safety, and for Corrine's return to me from her life of sin.
I mean, even though it's like I feel like they feel pressure to make things more exciting, and I think, like, you know, obviously there's always a debate about how much of Garden of Shadows was written by Virginia Andrews versus Andrew Niederman, but why can't you trust the source material? It still was a good source material, and it's like they didn't want to trust in and of itself it'd be exciting. We have to add all this other extra bits.
I was like, they just aged Olivia quite a bit.
So. Oh yeah, I saw the gray hair and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever think that being a parent would be this exhausting?
Are you kidding me? I love you so damn much.
Yeah, like the stuff about it, though, him being a doctor, like that was part of the tragedy that he couldn't become a doctor. That's why Christopher wanted to so badly and stuff. Like,
Mrs. Foxworth, I'm Mr. Woodruff to see you.
To come.
I'm at your service.
See the private investigator, maybe. And where's Joel? Like, she's investigating the daughter. What's going on with Joel?
Yeah.
No stroke of brush could capture the spirit.
It's yours.
She's wearing a cross now.
Mm-hmm.
8 years ago, you answered a letter from me with your arrival at my door.
No one can hear us.
You was doing what?
Praying, of course.
I'm wondering what he's up to.
Yeah.
I have to think he's up to something.
Of course.
Sit.
Quite a bit,
Because
actually.
I always felt like in the novels, what was interesting is that I felt like he was always also interested in the money. Like he wanted the money stuff too. But I'm not sure with this.
What a silly name. Why would she change?
Christopher is a doctor of obstetrics. He's quite successful at that. They
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
This is their house. Their wedding.
Are they normal?
Hmm.
I mean, are they healthy?
Not only are they healthy,
Scene we're dreading.
yes, this is Mr. Foxworth.
Mm-hmm. See, he's up to something.
He is.
I'm like, it's John Amos.
I see.
Which I think most people consider to be the real villain of the
Yeah.
story, you know?
Oh, I think he is.
Yeah. See, with getting rid of all that stuff, though, it's like, well, why wouldn't you get rid of the swan room stuff? And, like, she's obviously got to live there. That's such a big part of the story, you know? So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they made such, like, a left turn for this part.
We were getting back on track.
Right. Yeah, these little weird changes that are so wrong. It's the stuff now. It's like they got off with that East Wing thing, and like it's been cracking now until this adaptation. They're gonna throw it all off. This part 4. With John Amos being in this part, I'd like to say I think that was part of where they went wrong. Is a lot of he should have been in the third part.
I like how they make her look more homely.
Yeah, no, that's great too. And I've been noticing these little mice, like
Yes,
attic
me
mice
too, yeah.
references, symbolism.
Yeah.
But John Amos should have been there when Corrine was growing up, you know, at least for the last part of it.
Yeah.
Why don't you join me for some sweet tea on the terrace?
All I keep thinking that irks me a little is what a great setting that would have been for Petals on the Wind and the confrontation and all that. Like, it's interesting. When I think of Garden of Shadows, a lot of the times I do think of them sitting out on the veranda and the patio. I don't really know how much it happens, but that's the image I get. So just seeing these little moments, I do enjoy when they're out there.
Especially because in Seeds of Yesterday, they're always outdoors.
That's true, yeah. See, he doesn't want anybody else to get involved with his plans. Anybody else. He needs to have complete control over Olivia.
Yep.
At least they're getting that kind of right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I very much would not want to interrupt.
I mean, at least so far, though, they're getting this John Amos right, because it was a big problem I had with the Lifetime Flowers, the Attic Edition, was that John Amos let the kids go. He would never have let them go. It always really bothered me.
Yeah.
Even I'm not sure why, you know, I love the 87 film, but they also, with the original ending, wanted John Amos to somehow be the hero, and I never understood that. Like, did you guys read it?
Right.
Thorns, he was never going to be the hero. And he should be just as religious as Olivia, like...
Quite out of
You know, you think they would have made that scene with Christopher's death a little bit more like the Flowers in the Attic adaptation.
Right, I was kind of thinking something like that too. Like, it's not like they can't duplicate that pretty much. I don't know, it's just, it's a little weird. And again, what's going on with Joel? Because why wouldn't, and that's what I was saying, why wouldn't Corrine just turn to Joel, you know? Because they did have a good relationship, you know?
Yeah.
She's our cousin. How's Joel? Have you heard from him? Not in some time. He could be anywhere by now. I feel like each letter is from a different hemisphere.
Well, they've acknowledged Joel for you.
There we go. Thank you.
Me? Joel and Harry. And how's Corrine these days?
Ah!
What did you want to do?
Quite enough of this. Olivia.
She's your baby.
And shouldn't he be like the butler by now too?
Right.
He was supposed to be kind of like the butler, and he was being seedy in the background. I'm all fine with him whispering in her ear and stuff, but like,
Religion is food for personal thought, not for the dead. Remember?
Yes. Let's.
What is he up to?
Yeah, right? Because I can't anticipate it because it's being so different.
Yeah.
No. I came to say goodbye. Is that
I
all?
like the portraits of Olivia and
You
Malcolm in the
refuse to endure
background.
your judgment any longer. You don't have to replace one controlling man with another.
I mean, she's finally becoming the grandmother, but I feel like that's just happening so quickly, like,
Yeah.
in a different way. Like, I don't know, it should have happened sooner, but now that it's happening too quickly from where we were just at.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know.
Very slow moving for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, but in general, too, this is just wrong. Like, he does reach out to her and she confides and stuff, but he's supposed to be, like, a butler, and I just don't see how he could be in this position right now. But then by Flowers the Attic, he's back to being a butler. And, like, even Corrine always referred to him as the butler and stuff. Like,
Corrine's legitimacy. I have to.
Ever have you been more pure, more beautiful in my eyes?
mm-mm.
Maybe that's why he's the butler now.
I guess maybe, but
Dare you judge my daughter for a sin you yourself so easily commit, cousin?
I am so sorry.
I will not be violated by another man. You will leave Foxworth Hall tomorrow.
Well,
because he wanted the money, I think, and that's why he eventually goes after Corrine. But like, I kind of liked that because it does show his hypocrisy. Like he went on and tried to poison Bart Jr. and all that, but he didn't really care about the incest so much. They kind of made it seem like that in the Lifetime adaptation, but again, all he ever really wanted was Corrine.
Yeah. Like, where is this going?
Right.
Like, what is happening right now? Well, there's your representation.
How could they do this?
I don't know. Oh my lord. I'm so confused right now.
How can they do this and people be like, people aren't gonna care?
I mean, you can change certain things, but
Right.
you can't do something like this.
Right.
And now, how is he supposed to cut that meat? I'm just throwing it out there.
See, I don't have a daughter, but like he was the one who was excited about her coming back. Like why?
At Foxworth Hall, the seeds of sin were planted in
Oh.
Little did I know then that my efforts would give rise to the greatest evils Foxworth Hall had yet to see.
Like it was supposed to be John Amos that like convinced her to put them up in the attic. Like this is so. She's not really the bad guy, the grandmother. She's awful. She's a villain, but she's not really. I don't know. There's just so much they could have done. So much opportunity here.
Yeah.
Well, see, the grandmother certainly had no partake in it. How are they doing this right now?
Maybe it was a foreshadowing for Corrine.
Maybe. I mean, I guess she didn't really use rat poison, so it was arsenic.
Mm-hmm. I like the picnic basket.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to hold on to some positives here.
Right. That's exactly it. I'm disappointed that I was so excited to see these moments, but now that it was somehow got here, it was all twisted how it got here wrong, and it doesn't make any sense now.
They really should be consulting fans on these things.
Seriously, I don't understand.
Like, we can tell you what you can change and what you cannot.
Right, I'd be like, no, you could, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, that's okay.
Yeah.
Definitely
No.
don't touch that.
Right. She's not scary yet either.
Right.
You are now in my home, and you will follow.
I hope we get to see some of the conversation between Olivia and Corrine.
Right, I mean, especially since it was sort of been already pretty much conveyed in a letter. I mean, Corrine knew they were going up there.
Yeah. You know, she didn't have any bags, right? Were they supposed to pick them up at the train station?
Right, yeah. That's right.
Not a big deal, but still.
Because all the cracks now are showing.
Yeah.
It was only for one night. And it was for their own good. At least that's what I told myself.
Well, like, that's weird, because that seems like maybe she did know. With right there, getting that little voiceover, it definitely implies she did know. Well, I'll just say right off the bat that I'm looking forward to the adaptation, the supernatural adaptation where they bring John Amos back to life. I don't understand. First of all, I'm just so disappointed because, like, I was so excited throughout all of this, and I thought that there were so many great moments. Even some of the changes, it was enough that I was, like, interested in them, and they were still hitting certain beats that I'm like, okay, I can handle all of this. And I know that some of you have, like, really enjoyed it and have been fine with the changes. Some of you have not been happy with the changes, and I feel like I've been, like, because I have enjoyed it so much that I've been willing to, like, make certain, like, defenses of this. But I don't know how you kind of fall apart at the end there so much. So disappointing. I think episode 4 was the worst. Yeah. It was anticlimactic, if you will. John Amos dying just throws off the whole thing. How do we now fix If There Be Thorns? Like, again, I don't understand how you could, like, make these kind of mistakes like that. Like, who was like there, you know what? This is not only a good idea, but people are going to enjoy this. Like, you're killing John Amos. He's the reason the kids are in the attic to begin with. And not to mention, he's a huge part in what it happens in If There Be Thorns that gives you Seeds of Yesterday. Like, and he's going to attack Olivia. It's just so crazy to me. It just, like, they made a mistake in not having him in part 3. Somebody was like, he needs to come back in part 4. And whatever happened there, like, completely splintered and went all over the place because it just doesn't make any sense. I'm just so disappointed. Yeah, so am I. Especially because I was genuinely excited today getting in to watch this. And the beginning definitely had some problems. But I was willing to overlook a lot of those problems because I'm like, it's still kind of, they're trying to make it more dramatic and exciting. So I'm like, that's fine. As long as we still get here. I'm not sure how I feel about the little, I think it was supposed to be kind of a twist at the end with Corrine that, like, it seems like in front of the kids, she was all like, I don't know what's going on, what's happening. But then it seems like she is supposed to kind of, as she's walking, like, I did what I thought was best, well, like the voiceover. It seemed like they were setting it up like she was just being ditzy in front of them, like, oh, everything's okay. But it kind of, as they're walking away, it seems like what they were trying to accomplish was, oh, nope, she does know what's going on fully. Yeah, I think she was playing it off for the kids. Yeah. She did know from the letter that the grandmother wrote. Right. Or whatever. But I will say, just the religious stuff and stuff, what do you think about missing all that? So it didn't make sense that, we don't see any of the religious parts of Malcolm. It looks like him and John Amos didn't really have any kind of connection, even though John Amos was supposed to be a big influence to Malcolm. Yeah. And then additionally, him saying, like, I don't have a daughter. Right. That threw me off a little bit. Especially because he's supposed to be so enamored. That's what Olivia was afraid of, that he would slip backwards. Yeah. She was never afraid, really, of herself. She says in Garden of Shadows that she has to steel herself, but she's not really too concerned about herself. She was worried about him. Yeah. So it just changes so much. It really did. And in a way that's like, how did you... I feel betrayed in a certain way. I don't know. So... What did you all think about it? You know, I know that some of you hated it right off the bat. If you were having hate for a lot of the other stuff in parts 1, 2, and 3 that we were kind of okay with, and some of it was interesting, but this was, I don't know, they went off the rails, like flew off the rails, off the cliff, into the river, sank to the bottom. Like, I don't know, it was just crazy.
And then the whole, like, Nell, that whole thing,
Nella.
like, we wrapped that up last episode. Mm-hmm. Then they kind of brought all of it back again and, like, made this a bigger thing, and I'm like, this... It was done last episode, and they then brought it back up again.
I agree.
And it's like they could have done things so much more differently.
Well, and I think that she would have reached out to Joel. I was sort of waiting to hear how he died because I'm like, well, that's why she didn't reach out to him. But it doesn't make any sense. One, she's all like coming back to see her father, but it's very badly left with her father. She went knowing she was good. Corrine went back to Foxworth Hall knowing she could convince her father. But here it seems like on either side it was never going to happen. And yet, I think because of her relationship with Joel, she would have at least reached out to him first. And the fact that he was still alive, and again, but the biggest thing I think that I have a problem with that I can't really forgive no matter how I would try is that what happened to John Amos in this. One, that he was trying to do that to Olivia, but then also that because he was a hypocrite, and I'm fine with them trying to, like, point out hypocrisy. I thought maybe she was going to, like, be like, listen, you can stay because you've helped me so much, but if you ever, you're now the butler, you're now this. I thought that's kind of where they were going to go with it.
That's where they should have.
Right, not Olivia killed him, and it's, what?
Olivia's not a murderer.
Exactly.
And that was what we talked about episodes back with Mrs. Steiner.
Yes.
That Olivia didn't murder her, thank God. Yeah. She's not a murderer.
That's the whole thing, because you're supposed to always feel that about her. She's... evil in her own way, but she's not a murderer because of religion and stuff like that. And you're right, you were saying the religion stuff, they waited too long to bring it in, even in both versions. I always liked more the Flowers in the Attic interpretation, that they were always religious, but I was fine with Garden of Shadows, it kind of happening like halfway through, but it wasn't like basically according to this, it's just the last like few years she got into it, and it's like everything now, because it makes Olivia seem more impressionable. She was supposed to be this woman who was born before her time with intelligence in a world that like wasn't ready for women to be intelligent. But this now makes it seem like she's willing to like whatever fad almost is in front of her. Like, oh, right now it's, you know, sure, I'm fine with gay marriage, and then I'll be okay with them being together, Chris and Corrine, and sort of like in Souls and the Blues and with Nella and all that, I'm whatever. And now religion's here. I'm now going to be the most religious. But that's not who Olivia was. She made these decisions and then firm, and it was never changing again. And so they just kind of, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened with this.
It's a big question mark. I guess we'll never know.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to see your guys' reactions. Yeah. Because I was stunned.
Now, please don't give me 1,000 dislikes because you liked the movie. If you dislike what we're saying, fine, I can take it. But if you're going to dislike it, not because of the movie. This episode is not the movie. Okay. But I will say, I don't know, I'm hopeful that maybe down the road I'll come back to this. You know, some of the other adaptations I'm willing to go back a little bit and watch. But this one's going to be hard for me because of just, I think it could have been so good. And that's why it was such a letdown, because it could have been so good, and even with the changes they made, I thought it was good. And then something about this one, what happened? Yeah,
the first 2 episodes were absolutely fantastic. The 3rd episode, we knew that they were wrapping up kind of these new storylines. We were okay with that. But this, they just...
making Chris a doctor. Like, why? That's the whole point. But anyway, let us know what you think. Thank you for watching. I hope you're not too disappointed as we are right now. But we do always appreciate the comments. Have a good one. Please subscribe. Thanks for watching.
John Amos